Welcome back to the Knick-Knack Review. I am your host, Clint the Knick-Knack, and today we get our first look at Spider-Man No Way Home, the trailer. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it finally happened. Fans have been waiting for this day for quite a while, so let's get started. I honestly thought this day wasn't going to come because Marvel and Sony had waited for so long to release anything about it. We only got like maybe one set photo, and that was it. Considering what this trailer showed, I can kind of understand why. So the trailer starts out with the last movie left off where Mysterio dies and he exposes Spider-Man to the world and he shows that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. And you get our first look at J. Jonah Jameson, of course, J.K. Simmons coming back in his probably most famous role. You actually see him going through the struggle. At first you see him talking to MJ, but then you see him like going to court and really like going to school and just facing all these problems that come with being exposed. And one thing I will say, see him going to court kind of gives me hope that maybe Matt Murdock will be his lawyer. I heard a few rumors that maybe Charlie Cox will come back as Daredevil and Matt Murdock, and I'm really hoping that's the case. However, if they don't go that route, if they can still bring Matt Murdock to be his lawyer, that would be accurate to the comic books because he was, several heroes' lawyer before, but if that has actually happened in both the comic books and the animated series, so I'm really, really hoping for that. If that doesn't happen, kind of shame on you, Marvel. So basically, Peter's world is turning upside down with him being exposed to Spider-Man. So he approaches Doctor Strange in hopes that he could actually reverse this whole thing and make people forget that he's Spider-Man. Doctor Strange warns that the whole world will forget about Peter, and Peter's like, oh crap, wait, no, MJ, Aunt May, Ned, I don't want them to forget. And he's like, that's not how spells work, Peter. This plot alone right there of him wiping the memory of the entire world about Spider-Man, that sounds right out of a comic book story right there. That itself is a comic book plot. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Wonder Woman 2 where the wishing stone, but we're really not going to go there. Now, in doing this spell, it actually opens a portal to the multiverse, and it's just like there's no limits anymore. It's completely open, and I think it looks like Peter falls through it, and Doctor Strange goes after him. And like I can't tell if they're going through that or if they're going through one of like Doctor Strange's portal type things that you see in the first movie. But anyway, you see Spider-Man falling and Doctor Strange going after him, and it's like, okay, so where's he going to be now? Is he still on our Earth, or is he in another parallel Earth that now the multiverse is completely open? Or is it because the multiverse is open, people are going to be coming to our universe? Next thing you see, other than some like great visual effects, we see a pumpkin bomb rolling down the road, and you hear ha ha ha, and I'm like, oh God, I know that voice. And right after that, you see whoosh, big old claw come out of nowhere, and Alfred Molina in his whole Doc Ock persona, and he's like, hey, Peter. I'm like, okay. They really did open the door to the multiverse. So are we going to get all of Sam Raimi's villains? And wait a minute, he's supposed to be dead. So I'm guessing we're going to get a version of Doc Ock. It looks like potentially a version of Green Goblin. But it looks like we're going to get the Raimi version, which to me, those are absolutely incredible. So if we get that, then bravo. Obviously we're going to get Doc Ock, so I'm hoping he's not just a cameo because Alfred Molina is absolutely great, and not saying he has to be the main villain, but I'm really hoping it's more than just a little bit of a cameo. I hope it's more of a glorious cameo. We did not see any other villains that I noticed anyway, but we saw the pumpkin bomb, so obviously we get a form of Norman Osborn. I heard talks that we might get Electro, and come on, if we're going to get all of this, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield have to show up. Come on. There has not been really any confirmation yet that I've really truly seen, but this has to happen. Whether they appear as Spider-Man or some alternate version of their characters, like, I don't know, Tobey Maguire as Uncle Ben and Andrew Garfield as the freaking mailman. We have to have them in this movie in some capacity. There's absolutely no way they are not in this movie. And, there's just no way. No way home. All in all, this trailer looks absolutely amazing. With Spider-Man being one of the more grounded characters in Marvel, even though he has powers, we've always seen him go through the exact same struggles as pretty much everybody else. Not being able to pay rent. not being able to handle his job, and balance Spider-Man and his relationships. He has always been probably the most relatable character in Marvel, and so I'm really, really looking forward to that aspect of this movie, because you'll see him in court, you'll get that more personal, grounded storyline. However, you'll also get the whole Doctor Strange multiverse storyline, and I hope there's a pretty fair balance. Obviously, well, there's no confirmation, but we're not going to see any more like Avengers or heroes other than Doctor Strange, and you see Wong in there as well. I'm hoping that this movie, kind of like Homecoming, grounds him in a sense to where it's not like an epic universal scale, even though we're dealing with the multiverse. I hope at least where the movie starts, we get that grounded Spider-Man we know and love, so that way once we see the multiverse happen, it's kind of like a shock and awe effect. Well, that about does it for me, guys. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of the trailer. Let me know any Easter eggs you might have spotted that I didn't. Tell me who you think's going to show up in this movie. Will Toby show up? Will Andrew show up? They gotta show up. Come on. Who are we kidding? So while you're there, don't forget to, well, you know what to do. As always, I'm Clint the Knick-Knack, and I will see you on the next one.